Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts Super Saiyan 2 Son Goku Exclusive Edition. You'll notice right there it says Exclusive Edition. Doesn't say Comic-Con, so we'll see. As of right now, they are Comic-Con 2022 exclusives. Did a video about that yesterday, depending on when you're seeing this. But as has been customary in the past, I suspect these will see wider release on PB or at least at other events. I don't know. It could be only in-person events, could be no online at all. We don't know. They haven't said anything about it. May not be anything but Comic-Con. It's just suspicious that it doesn't have the Comic-Con exclusive logo. So have some hope. If you don't have a line to get one of these yet, you may have some opportunity coming in the future. But this is, despite being mostly a repaint, it has some new stuff and it's got some pretty cool paint on it. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Okay, before we get into the figure, I do want to show you the packaging because it is the exclusive cool black packaging with the colored line art, and it's very nicely done. You can see the like Paint Master images on here and on the back as a standard packaging, but this way you have an idea of what the exclusive one looks like. And we're going to be doing some brief comparisons up against this one, which is the one that is available super widely, the anime look face. But this way you can know for sure which one I'm talking about by seeing the packaging. This is the one I believe that's available at Target, and it's fairly inexpensive, but it is the closest one to the one that we are reviewing, so that's why we're going to do that comparison. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into this guy, but first I want to do a quick question of the day. This is going to tie into something we're going to talk about in this review. As far as Super Saiyan hair color goes, I'm not talking about version-specific accuracy per figure. I'm talking about your personal preference. Now, do you prefer the platinum blonde look that we saw earlier on in the series, or do you prefer the very yellow look? As an example, this guy's closer to the platinum blonde even though it's metallic. This guy's closer to the straight up yellow. Which one do you prefer? I quite like the platinum blonde look in the anime, but I don't know that it translates as well in figure form, so I think I'd have to lean toward the straight up yellow with a little bit of white highlighting. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we go. Okay, so lots of stuff to talk about. Let's get the height measurement on this guy first. He stands roughly where his head would be, about 14.25 centimeters, including the hair and halo, closer to 17, give or take, depending on how you have him posed and how he's leaning. And that's going to make him roughly, let's say 5.5, and then 6 3/4 inches tall. It is mostly the same figure as this one. It's very, very similar. The plastics are slightly different colors, but mostly it's the same figure. As far as actual differences go, other than paint, we have the chest here, and obviously the head and faces are different. Otherwise, it is the same figure. The hair is similar, but obviously it's not the same mold because this one has a hole in it, and obviously we have a different front hair here, and a different key layout for the heads. So it's not quite the same. You can technically swap the entire heads if you want to. The ball hinges are the same, but as you can see, the skin tones are a little different. This guy's a little bit more pink. This guy's a little bit more yellowy tan colored. So skins are a little bit different. The shirt or the clothes are very similar. The oranges are very, very close. This guy has that ugly brown shading on him that's only on his legs. This guy has a light orange shading, which is one of the best things about it. It takes me right back to the older releases from Bandai for this line, and it looks wonderful. It's not absolutely perfect. You can see this shoulder got hit by a little bit too much, but we have it around the tears here on both shoulders, all around the legs, and it's way more subtle and way better looking. It's so much nicer looking than this one, so I love that. We also have the slightly brighter blues all the way around for the wrists, belt, and undershirt. This guy has two different blues for the wrists and belt, and then the navier blue, like the more royal here, and then the navy up here, and it's all kind of satin finished. This guy is completely matte finish for the blues and for the oranges for the most part. There's a little bit of shine coming through on the hard plastic in the crotch, but that's not too bad. Then the boots are obviously painted just about the same, slightly darker on the regular release. So yeah, it's a very basic figure, but they nailed it with the paint. There's nothing glossy on this guy. It looks so much better for it. I love that they have the universal shading throughout this lighter yellowy orange on top of the normal orange. The molded parts that don't have as much paint on them don't stand out because they're molded in the right color. The blues are all matte. I love that. The skin tone is nice and matte. I love that. We'll get to the hair in a second. The faces, some people are saying they hate the faces. I love them. I love them. I think they're wonderful. This one isn't even one of the good examples. It's fine. There's two in the package that are even better, but I love this paint job on here. I love the sculpt, I love the paint. I think it's one of the better looking Goku heads. It's not perfect. They never get the 3D representation of the 2D images perfect. Not in this line anyway, not really anywhere, but this one's really good if you ask me. I think that looks fantastic. The paint job and the sculpt all the way around. Now, we have to talk about the hair. I asked you guys in the video yesterday if you prefer the metallic, the flat colors, or the transparent. I'm personally a fan of the flat colors, but metallic somewhere in the middle there. For me, transparent would be last. This guy is basically straight up metallic with a little bit of kind of like white highlighting, and I think it looks really good. I'm still not, it's not my favorite look, but I like it, and I like that they went for more of the platinum look, except for the fact that some people are mad about this, I guess. The images they originally showed had much more of the yellow look for the hair. And I think in this case it might have actually looked better. I think most of the time in figure form, the darker yellow as opposed to the platinum blonde look, it actually presents a little better on the shelf. That being said, this is a valid enough way to do it, and so if you're okay with the platinum look and metallic hair, this looks really good. They did a really nice paint job on it. So executed well. Is it the right color? Not based on the images they originally showed, but based on the anime, it's closer because when he first went Super Saiyan 2, he did have the platinum hair. So it's like, you can pick what you want to pick to like or not like about it. I've given you the information, you can decide. For me, I'm somewhere in the middle for the hair color. It does obviously have the Super Saiyan 2 sculpt on there with the extra bangs and things, so that's cool. And we do get the halo that sticks in the back here. I like that. I probably won't display him with it because I don't really care for all the halo versions of the figures, of the characters. I'll just take it out, but you can use it if you want to. The upright is clear and the halo is yellow. So anyway, aesthetically speaking, this is one of the best Gokus, if not the best Goku we've seen in recent history. This one obviously was riddled with problems. Not terrible, but it did have its fair share. I think the last really good one was the Saiyan Raised on Earth Goku. So, you know, this is a different look, and they did a really good job with it. And I personally really like it. And as a reviewer, I think it's right up there. So aesthetically speaking, I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. There's not a whole lot I would change on this guy, honestly. Objectively, it's really good. Subjectively, I'd give him the different colored hair and make it flat colors, but that's not, you don't care what I want, you care what is actually good or not. So yeah, I think it's really good aesthetically speaking. Now, as far as the accessories go, we do get the halo if you want to count that. We'll go for hands next. With the 2 fist hands that come in the package, 2 instant transmission hands, 2 martial arts hands, 2 clenchy hands, and 2 wide open hands. Standard array of accessories. As for the face plates, we have the stern face that comes on him in the package. Then we have the smirking face. That one and those two are about the same level of quality. I think they're good, but there's a little bit that could be better about them. There's something kind of off. But then we have what looks to me like the, I don't know how you would describe it, kind of, I don't know, stunned face. The teeth gritting face, really good. I love that one. And then we have the yelling face, which I think is even better. I really, really like that. Maybe the pupils could be pushed out just a little bit, I guess, but I think all of these faces are overall fantastic. They're some of the best looking faceplates ever. The paint jobs are just top-notch immaculate. Okay, and then the last thing we have for the accessory is the aura effect part. We don't have a blast effect this time, but we do get this brand new aura effect part, which is really, really well done. Whole new sculpt, obviously. It's got a better shape to it. It sits much nicer, much spikier. We have the white and yellow radiating outward. Looks nice. The yellow is lined up with the spikes, so that looks good. And then we have these guys here, which are just ball pegged in, transparent, basically clear plastic with a little bit of blue color on there, and you can move them around a little bit. You can rotate them around as you want to, but you're going to basically have them like this and have Goku inside there, however you decide you want to do it, however you want to pose him. Obviously, I don't have him posed for it right now, but that gives him the Super Saiyan 2 lightning effect and then the yellow radiation effect. And if you want to pop these off, the little holes don't stand out too much. So if you wanted to just do yellow, you could do that. I suspect we'll be seeing this again in the future. Love this compared to the other aura effect that we've been getting for a while now. This is wonderful. It's very well executed and it gives the blue lightning effect. Very clever way to do it. I love it. Very, very nicely done. So accessory-wise, the only thing I'm really missing is like an actual blast effect, but I don't think that's necessary given the aura. So I'm very pleased with that. I'm going to go 9 out of 10. It'd get a 10 if we had a blast effect or a flight stand, but still 9 out of 10. They nailed the accessories. Love those faces. Some people are hating them. I don't personally get it. I think they look fantastic. They look way good. Whatever. Okay, so let's talk about the articulation. This is not going to be much new because there's not much new on here that would affect articulation. But I will show you. We have the standard ball hinge for the neck, which, as you can see, basically 0 range. At least a double ball peg would give you more range. For a joint like this where there's very little gap, a double ball peg is so superior. It's always superior, but in this case it would be way better. So that's a little bit of a bummer. You will get some play out of it, enough I would say, but you're mostly going to be using the ball peg in the neck, which is also very limited and somewhat gappy. So it's not the best situation ever. Let me pop this face on because I dropped the other one. I will say these faces don't peg on quite as tight as I would like, but it's not like they fall off regularly or anything like that, so that's fine. Can't do this on camera. There we go. Yeah, I love that yelling head. I think that's one of the best faces we've seen for Goku ever. So good. Now for the shoulders, this is all standard stuff. We definitely need that updated Gohan set of shoulders in here. You have the skin tone in the butterfly. Butterfly doesn't really bring the arm around. This extra piece of shirt up here that's ball pegged in the back, it gets in the way. You have limited range. This is a very dated mold at this point. So it'll be okay. It lines up with all the other Gokus, but it still definitely needs to be replaced. It's a little bit antiquated at this time. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow does work nicely. Good range there. Little ball hinges in the wrist. That's all fine. And as you saw, the shoulder is very limited. Now for the torso, it goes back about that far, which isn't super far. And going forward, with the hinge ball peg combo, that's about as far as it gets. So again, it's not super far. You're going to have to do most of that posing with the hips if you want to, which is an option, but now you know how the torso is limited. Going side to side, it actually works really nicely. I like that a whole bunch. You do get rotation out of that as well. The lower torso rotates some. The belt is a floaty piece, but it's fairly stiff plastic and it doesn't allow much range. Now for the hips, you can bring them all the way forward. If you go too far, they pop off. That's not the figure's fault, that's my fault. They're just connected on ball. For those of you who don't know, the hips on these figures are just ball pegs that rotate vertically. That was my fault because this is curved. I just pushed it off. Okay, so yeah, this is the way you want to do the hips. The new hips, like we saw in Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I believe, and who was it, Krillin? They have a little bit of butt cheek, and the butt cheek prevents this back leg from doing this. So I do miss this. This is the best way to do it. I personally don't think we need the butt cheeks sculpted in right here. Doesn't bother me at all that it looks like this. So great range forward and back going out to the side. Let's see what we have. No looseness, by the way, either, which is a really nice touch. I'm getting them about that far. You might be able to force them a little bit more. I don't want to risk scratching the paint on mine, so I'm going to say that's as far as they go safely. And that's better than 45, so I will take it. And then some of you have been asking me if these are made in China, made in Vietnam. I'm willing to bet it's China, but I'll check by the end of the video and you'll be able to see. Thigh swivel is fine. Double jointed knee is fine. You can see these internal colors don't stand out, which is a good thing. Very uniform coloring all around. Ankles are still on the little double ball pegs that are very limited, but sufficient enough. I really want them to update that as well, but they don't seem to want to do it. Very limited range overall. Toe hinge is okay. None of the joints are loose or too tight. I like that a whole bunch. I didn't test it. Yeah, there's no shading. There's no paintwork on the back here at all. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but it does look really good from the front. Just wanted to throw that in there. So articulation-wise, it's average. Obviously, we have those outdated shoulders and the limited head and neck, but the rest is okay. So it's a 7 for figure art standards. There's nothing crazy here. We've seen way better out of things like Cooler or like Super Boo or any of them that are really good. This one's fine. Nothing terrible about it. Okay, let's check. Made in China. Okay. So yeah, this is a Chinese one that might explain the tight joints. I don't know. But it has a really good paint job, which we've seen out of both factories, so either way. This one's really nice. If you're into Super Saiyan 2 Goku, which most people are, I would suggest it's worth tracking down, but I would also suggest maybe, don't hold me to this, but maybe give it some time. Don't freak out while the hype is high and pay out the butt when you might even be able to get it at retail price online, or at least buy it secondhand on eBay, but it's not like it's going to keep going up. Probably is my guess. but maybe not. Usually things spike right at Comic-Con, they dip a little bit, then they tend to creep back up as they become harder to find, in my experience. So that might help you get one at a better price. I don't know. If you want to just let loose of a couple bucks, then just grab one on eBay and be done with it. I've done that plenty of times. So yeah, I like this figure a whole bunch. People are complaining about the hair color and the faces. I personally like them both a lot. I prefer the other kind of hair, but this one is still well done, and I think the faces are gorgeous. So yeah, I'm going to give it a final rating of 9 out of 10. It's really, no, 8 out of 10 because the articulation is still limited and dated. Too many reused parts. I think new shoulders would have been this would have been a great time to throw some new shoulders at Goku. So yeah, 8 out of 10. Put it on that Gohan body or something, I don't know. But it's still a really, really good release, and I definitely recommend it. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.